leaders of our Posh Show's business, and I'm here today with Ankur, who's a leader on our data team. We are so excited to be here in Nashville with all of you. But that's enough about us. We know this week is all about you, and it wouldn't be a data presentation if we didn't start with some numbers. So I've got the first one for you. Did you know that people here in PoshFest make up over 43 states in the country, which is an incredible array of diversity? Yeah, let's give it a round of applause.
And do you know, Diksha, what's more interesting? 65% of our audience here are coming to a PoshFest for the first time. Show of hands, first-timers, make some noise. Woo! Second-timers here. Woo!
I know there are a few of you that have been to PoshFest 3 or more times, so I want to see your hands. Who's been to PoshFest 3 or more times? Let's give everyone a round of applause. That's pretty amazing. So whether you've been with us before or this is your very first PoshFest, each of you brings something unique to the table. But we are all united in one shared story, and that's the story of taking our Poshmark business to the next level.
Well, here at Poshmark, we like to say data is the ultimate storyteller, and which is why today we're going to talk about algebra and geometry. Just kidding, don't leave. Well, we have a lot of data that we put together into 7 key principles. We believe that these principles can help you be even more successful, help you sell more, and help you sell faster. So let's dive in.
So let's start with the first principle, monitor emerging trends. We had so many trends this year. We had quiet luxury, we had clean girl, we even had one called mob wife. Did anyone else have leopard print? They had to fish out from the back of their closet. Mob wife was definitely a vibe. You know, we do wonder, though, at Poshmark, trends come and go pretty quickly, right? What's going to stick around month over month? What causes a trend to really stay in one place? And we wanted to highlight one trend in particular that we saw really show up in our data. So I want you guys to take a look at the images on this page, and I want you to think about, what do these pictures have in common? What trend do you think that they reflect? I'm hearing athletic, some sportswear over here. Not quite there. In fact, did someone say retro sport? I feel like I just heard it. This one is retro sport, and specifically items that are sportswear that are vintage pieces that came from the past. And we found that specifically for retro sport, shoppers were looking for listings related to this trend in significantly greater volumes than they were last year. And I've listed a few examples here of the items that people were searching for and the growth rate in searches that we saw in the last year. It's pretty incredible. What's even more interesting is why we think about, why did retro sports stick around so much? There wasn't just one big moment, and it was actually a compilation of a few pop cultural moments that led to this point. We had the Olympics, we had the release of Zendaya's movie The Challengers, we had celebrities like Hailey Bieber donning the Adidas summer short. It was really a lot of different moments that led to retro sport being one of the top trends on Poshmark. But we also looked at search data on brands because we wanted to see what could we find there that's interesting. So we took a look at the top brands in terms of how quickly they sold on Poshmark from the moment that they were listing. And we found that while there were the usual suspects of brands that sell very quickly, there was also a really special cohort of brands that showed up and outperformed in a meaningful way. These are brands that weren't in our top list of sell-through that all of a sudden made it there. And I've listed a few of the examples here. And in fact, on average, listings from this cohort sell 10x faster than listings from other brands. So it's really a remarkable group here. So what's the main takeaway of this, right? I think many of you might be thinking, I would love to monitor trends, but by the time I find out about a trend or a rising brand, it seems like it's already passé. And so what can I do to make this actionable? And this is where we can help you. So we have a team of merchandising experts who curate content. We have a daily email, we have a weekly blog, we have a monthly restyled series, and our goal here is to equip you guys with the data that we're seeing on our end and share those insights with you on a regular basis so you can cut past the noise and really list to what shoppers are searching for.
Well, before we go on to the next slide, I want to start with a quick story. So just a couple of days ago, I went to the pediatrician with my 1-year-old for a routine checkup. And then I asked a question to the doc. I said, well, my daughter doesn't want to eat. She just hates mealtime, throws food. Well, first of all, can you feel my pain in this question here? No, right? So she takes a pause. She looks at me and she says, Ankur, you need to think like a baby. I'm like, what? So like, what does she do all day? Like, she's hanging out, she's chilling, having fun. I'm like, when you're giving her meals, you're interrupting her fun. I'm like, oh, okay. So make the meal times as fun as the rest of her day. Which brings us to our next principle. Think like a baby. Well, a buyer in this case. So I'll start with an example. So just a couple of weeks ago, I was looking for a shirt on Poshmark. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm a little bit lazy. And let's just say ironing clothes is not really my thing. So I'm looking for a tag that makes me feel confident that this shirt would be iron-free or some sort of care instructions. I really like a shirt, but I don't feel confident because I'm missing that picture. So I move on to another shirt, and I hit purchase. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if we don't think like buyers, we may miss out on certain potential opportunities like this one. So we put together some numbers, simple yet very powerful. Adding just 3+ pictures on your listing increases your sell-through by almost 35%. Who here has made a purchase with a listing that didn't have enough pictures or had bad pictures? I don't see any hands. Oh, there's one, okay. Adding a brand to a title increases the chance by almost 41%. Any brand doesn't need to be an LV. Every single item has a brand. Again, it gives the buyers confidence that, yes, they're making the right purchase. Adding a listing video does the exact same thing. It makes the buyer feel confident at every single step that they are doing the right thing. Just one last thing I want to say on this slide is, you must have seen the SmartList AI demo yesterday and in the presentation right before that. I highly encourage you to try it if you haven't already, because it does mitigate a lot of these things that I'm talking about here today. Moving to principle number 3, commit to listing consistently. I feel like this is one of my favorite principles because you can apply this principle to a lot of things in your daily life. Think about simple things like hitting the gym. You cannot expect to be fit if you hit the gym one day for 10 hours straight, right? In fact, I don't recommend it. You don't need 60 minutes to go to the gym. You need to go to the gym every single day. Could be 30 minutes, could be 15 minutes. Show up every single day, and that's going to have meaningful impact on your life. That's exactly what we want you guys to do from a listing standpoint. List every single day if you can. You don't have enough listings, make it every single week. Still don't have enough listings, let's make it every single month. And the data shows that when you list consistently, people are 2x more successful than people who do not list consistently. And the rationale here is that when you list consistently, you start a flywheel of closet views that helps you sell not just your new items, but also your previously listed items. Fun fact, this was one of the key statistics that led to the listing streaks feature that was rolled out a couple of weeks ago. Principle number 4, offers are your friend. You know why? Because data says so. 2.5x is the difference between sending an offer and not sending an offer. Let that sink in for a minute. It's a big number, isn't it? What we see in the data is that these offers don't need to be 30, 40, 50% off. Even a 10% off makes a lot of difference. You know why? Because these offers also act as a nudge to these buyers, reminding them, hey, remember the item that you liked? Maybe it's time to hit the purchase button on these. Another thing that we see in the data is that it's not just the first OTL that you send. Keep sending them. The next one, the next one. As you get likes, keep sending these OTLs, because we see higher rate of success with every subsequent OTL. And lastly, I want to say is that, again, what we see in the data, offers sent right away, right after the like, hours after the like, same day after the like, are so much more successful than a few days out. So keep those offers sending.
So I want to switch gears and talk about Posh shows. which we launched just under 2 years ago. And I have been blown away by the creativity and the vibrancy and the sheer grit that I have seen from all of you on your lives. And I watched it here yesterday too in the open studio sets. But don't just take my word for it, and the data really speaks for itself. So Poshmark sellers have hosted over 1.5 million shows since we started. But what's even more spectacular is that the Poshmark community has watched over 1.5 billion minutes of shows. So to put this into perspective, this is like if everyone in New York City sat down to watch Titanic. That's how many minutes that we're talking here, which is pretty incredible. But we all know that Poshmark is not just a live streaming platform, right? We have closets, we have a catalog business. And it's really important to us here at Poshmark that shows and hosting shows have a ripple effect of success on your closet. So I have a trivia question here that I want to ask you all to help me with. We have a sentence. In the first week of hosting a Posh show, sellers on average see their closet traffic increase by, and I want to see who here thinks it's A, 25%. 25% lift. Okay, I see a few hands. How about B, 90%? Yeah, a few more hands, still not a lot. C, 65%. The right answer usually is in the middle, right? No, it's 90%. 90%. So I want to let that sink in for a second. This means that on your first week of hosting a show, any seller, regardless of how many viewers you got in that first show, how many sales you made, how many shows you did in the beginning, on average, sellers see a 90% lift in closet views that week. What does closet views actually mean? It means there are more eyeballs looking at your listings, which means more likes, more comments, more offers, and ultimately more sales. And so we really see this incredible bridge between hosting shows and catalog business lift, which is remarkable. But we want to make sure that you all are successful in those first few shows. And we know that going live can be really, really daunting when you're first starting out. So we have a few basics here that we want to cover that are backed in the data on how you can succeed in that first show. So the first tip, go live for at least 30 minutes. And we see that this causes a 50% increase in your chance of sale. 30 minutes is a long time. Who's scared by that? Going live for 30 minutes? I know I can proudly raise my hand for that one. I remember before my first show, I was so nervous. I was thinking to myself, what am I going to say for 30 minutes? Who's going to want to listen to me for 30 minutes outside of you all right now, of course? Who's going to want to listen to me for 30 minutes? And I realized that after, I was thinking about it the wrong way. It wasn't that I was just projecting and speaking for 30 minutes alone, but rather it was a two-way conversation. What would I say to my friends if I was talking to them for 30 minutes? Probably ask them some questions, help them answer me back, maybe play a game, do a poll. You can do all of those things on shows. And if you think about it as a two-way conversation with other people on the end, it really makes a big difference in making the time go by. Second thing is to auction off at least 10 listings in your show, which we see typically leads to a 3 to 5x increase in your chance of a sale. Which makes sense if you think about it, right? All of you have been buyers, and all of you have probably walked into a retail store at some point. How often is it that you find exactly what you want to buy in exactly your size at the very front of the store? Not always, right? You typically walk in, you do a round, you want to see what else is there. Maybe you come back to that thing that you saw at the beginning, but you're not ready always to make the purchase. And your buyers and your viewers of your show are the exact same way. So think about that the next time you're auctioning. If you don't feel like you're getting sales, it takes a little bit to get in the groove, and make sure to hit that 10 auction threshold. Now the last thing is using brands to stand out. And in particular, if you use top brands in your show title, we see that this leads to over 40% increase in chance of a sale, which is exactly for the reason that Ankur mentioned earlier. You want to think like a buyer, or in this case, think like a viewer. We have hundreds of shows going on at any given moment, so use brands in that show title and use brands in your show cover shot to make a difference.
Principle 6, boosting visibility. I feel like this is one of the most impactful things you can do to your closet. Because think of boosting visibility as the most top of the funnel activity. When you boost visibility, everything else, likes, offers, sales, everything follows. And there could be various ways to boost visibility. You could share your listing, you could host a show. But I feel like one of the most powerful ways, easiest ways, newest ways is our promoted closet tool. So this is a paid marketing tool. Some of you may have heard about it. It was launched almost a year ago. 70,000 sellers have seen success using that tool. And we see that in the numbers as well. 80% increase in clicks and almost 43% increase in sales. And also some of these intermediate metrics, likes and offers, follow in the same direction. I would say a way to think about Promoted Closet is, one of those moving walkways at the airport, right? You can still get to your gate, but if you need to get there faster, if you need a little boost, I would say hop on to this walkway. If you haven't tried it already, the first week is free, and we have experts here to help you out if you need more information.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end, and I want to end it with our last principle, which is one of my favorites. Community love equals community success. So I want all of you here in this room to take a look to the left at the person who's sitting next to you there. Give them a smile, give them a hello. Yeah? See lots of hellos. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Let's look at the person to the right of you. Smiles, hellos. Y'all, the energy that I'm seeing here is exactly what I'm talking about. The most powerful tool in your arsenal is all of you. It's all of you here in this room. It's all of you tuning in. It's the Poshmark community. And Manish mentioned this yesterday when he said, Poshmark was founded on this one principle, right? When one person in the community succeeds, we all succeed. And that has been inherent in our DNA and all of your DNA from the very beginning. Whether it's sharing someone else's listing, doing a community share, it's giving out a host pick during a Posh party, you all lift each other up, and that is honestly the best tool and the best piece of data we can give you. But I will follow it up with some numbers. So I want to talk about Posh Party Live, which is a new community selling event that we launched just earlier this year. We see that in Posh Party Lives, 1 in 3 listings sold by Posh Party Live hosts are shared listings. It's not even their own listing, right? But they're going out and selling on behalf of the community. And with share shows, we find that you are 70% more likely to make a sale when you share your item to a share show within the first 7 days of listing. So get your listings done, share them to share show hosts, make those connections because you all really lift each other up. And again, encourage you to keep tapping into the amazing community because it really is unlike any other. So that was a lot of information, a lot of data. I think we need a recap.
Absolutely,
right?
Diksha. We've tried to summarize these 7 key principles on the last slide. I hope you all have learned something new in the last 15 minutes. I'll just close by saying, embrace the new, enjoy the journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.